And let's go with take 62. I really had a lot of fun with the last take, and it really helped me to bring some laughter into the situation. And I'm not going to even talk about that issue anymore or even bother myself with it. There are far more exciting things going on here on Steam It, and just really excited. And so I want to get towards the positive and step away from the negative, as life should be that way for those of us who want to contribute something constructive to the world. Now, here in Take 62, I am going to switch up gears and talk about some things that are happening now. So first and foremost, I'm very grateful to the Steam It team for having given a nice vote on the last take, because I participated in the challenge, and I'm really grateful that I was accepted and that my entry was accepted. My entry was rewarded, and look out, because now if you give me free reign to be able to respond to challenges using this Smartcast, I'd be more than happy, because I'm good at writing. I love writing. I actually love writing, but I just love speaking in front of the microphone. I just love speaking in front of the microphone, and I articulate myself more so. Well, no, let me rethink that, because obviously when you write something, you take your time, you have time to pause. Whereas when you're speaking in front of the microphone, you got to get that flow of consciousness going straight away. But they're two different gifts, I believe. The flow of consciousness, where you let your intuition just guide you. You let your consciousness just take you to where it is that you to want to go with answering or addressing a particular issue. And really, it's almost like a powerful form of meditation, because it really brings you into the moment. I mean, I'm speaking here now with my Steam It audience, and I really have to be present in the moment. I can't be thinking about other problems that are going on, what's going on in the world, what's on television. I'm here concentrated, and it's an exciting feeling. I wish more people would find the courage to get in front of the microphone and express themselves verbally, vocally. Of course, there are a lot of people out there who may be shy and timid, but those of you who have ever had the sense that, the sensation that you would like to speak, have something to share, something you're passionate about, well, I have something for you today, and it's called Smartcasting. So, first argument, the rebirth of Smartcasting. The rebirth of Smartcasting. I'm very grateful to Girolamo Marotta, country representative on Steam It for Italy, who agreed courageously, because this is innovative, and it is something, I repeat, if you're timid, if you're shy, if you're concerned about your ability to be able to articulate ideas, or to be able to speak freely in front of other people, because in the world there is a great fear of public speaking. There are a lot of people out there who would really love to be able to get in front of a group of people and share what it is that they're passionate about. But the fear of public speaking is a rampant problem in the world of fears. So Girolamo overcame this, and he actually does not have a problem expressing himself. So we had a really excellent, amazing time creating the first Italian Smartcast with myself and him. I've provided the link if you want to support that. I know not everyone speaks or understands Italian, but I'm going to talk about Smartcasting now. And if you like the idea of Smartcasting and you want to support it, then you can go to that link and you can support it with a vote. Or if you understand or speak Italian, or even if you want to leave something in English, because I'll be reading the comments that go underneath of that. And if necessary, I could translate for the Italian community. So what is Smartcasting? Now, those of you who've been following the program for a while, you've heard me say it. You've heard me even outline it a little bit not too long ago. What's interesting? In a former Tino take not too long ago, I talked about Smartcasting. I actually described what Smartcasting is, and I threw the thought out there into, let's say, the field of desires. Now, obviously, it was in English, and I said during that show, I miss smartcasting. I may get back into it, but I need a co-host. I need a good co-host to do the smartcasting with me. And what do you know? The universe, when the universe hears the passion, the energy of people who have desires that come from the heart, the universe somehow responds in amazing ways. So I have now the Smartcast with Girolamo. He's going to be a constant presence in Curione Live, my Italian version of this podcast, Smartcast. And now, yes, let me talk a little bit about smartcasting. Smartcasting was something that I invented about 2 years ago. And if you look on my profile, I have always had up on my description for Familia Curione, Smartcaster. And smartcasting is the idea of creating a broadcast that is not limited to time or space, and also not limited to the amount of people that can participate. So what smartcasting does differently than what podcasting or broadcasting does is that smartcasting allows you to be able to create a show that is not necessarily live, and it is not it's not designated a particular time, nor is it designated a particular place. Not only that, but you don't need a studio either. Now, why did I create smartcasting? Well, I saw many things in the world of broadcasting and podcasting that raised questions for me about what will the future be for people who want to express themselves verbally in a way that we have expressed ourselves traditionally on radio. What is the future of radio? What is the future of broadcasting? And there were two things that I saw. I saw one, and this was in the UFO community. In the paranormal UFO community, there was always a lot of talk in the podcasts that they did and the broadcasts that they did. You would always have some kind of interference. And they would always say it's the government, and, they were kind of, they have this kind of James Bond paranoid kind of sense about it. And I thought it was fun. I found it fun. I didn't know whether I wanted to believe them or not, whether, the CIA is interfering. The government doesn't want this broadcast to go out. My first thought is, man, look, you might just have a bad internet connection. But, at the same time, it might very well be true. I like to poke fun at things, but at the same time, it could very well be true because these people do talk about some very controversial issues. The subject of ufology is a very controversial area. It's the most covered up subject in world history, and so there's some validity to what they say. But I used to always think to myself, these people are always complaining that their broadcasts are being interfered with. There's interference. And I used to think to myself, well, why do it live? Why put yourself out there? It's like you're being targeted for an assassination, right? And then you give the time and date on which you're going to be in public speaking in front of the people. It's like, hey, put the bullet in me. So my thought was, why broadcast when you can do something different, when you can record and then upload? What is this absolute necessity that people feel that they have to be live? Like, we have to be live because there's something different or something. I don't know. I don't know what they think it is, but I connected this with something that I have known for years, ever since I saw that broadcasting began to transfer itself onto the internet, because it was very easy to create audio files and then share those audio files. And when I saw that, I said, this is the end of radio. Radio will now die. Just as many of us said when streaming came along and when YouTube came along, many of us saw and said, television is dead. And this is way before Netflix and things of that nature. When we understood that the future of video would be on the internet, you would be able to do videos, movies, and things on computers, that television would die because, having international access, you have to understand radio transmissions, television transmissions, can only go but so far. Whereas when you're doing something online, you are dealing with the entire world. So when I first saw that a lot of broadcasters began to post their shows, they would still do terrestrial broadcasting with regular terrestrial radio, but they would also upload and put their shows in an archive online. What started to happen is that the audience online exploded exponentially. Why? Because a lot of people enjoy particular shows, but they don't have the schedule that would allow them to be able to be present when the show is live. So a lot of people started downloading from the archives. Not only that, the audiences for many people's shows expanded because they were outside of the range of a terrestrial transmission. So people all around the world started to listen to shows that they had never heard before that were from a different location. And I said, and I saw the numbers, and I said, that's it. The future is not live broadcasting. The future is the archives. That's where the real future is. The live audiences will continuously shrink, and outside of the live audience, archived shows will increasingly become more and more popular. Now, this is a background for Smartcasting. So I said, if I ever get into broadcasting, podcasting, I will not do live shows. I will archive shows because I understand that the greatest reach is not by doing a live show. It's by doing a show and putting it into an archive and giving people the option and the opportunity to be able to listen when it is that they have the time and the desire to want to listen. So that was one thing. The complaining of this community of people who constantly said that the show was being interrupted, and I would always say, why not record the show? Why not record the show in the comfort of your own home, in the comfort of a time period in which no one knows that the show, because that way no one can interfere. No one can interfere in what it is that you're recording. And then you can upload it, and then people can listen to it whenever they want, whenever they choose. Then something else happened that kind of sparked my attention. The Arab Spring. Do you guys remember the Arab Spring? This revolution that was going on all over the Arab world, with just people tired of the oppressive conditions. And a lot of that happened on social media. A lot of the messages that were being sent around, I mean, governments around the world were just not ready for something like that. And it was bound to happen, because once you have a new system of communication that allows people to connect with one another instantly, then you have a communication system that is not that easy to control. And when that spark set off and the Arab Spring took off, I thought to myself, wow, a lot of these people in the past would not have been able to organize these things by using regular telephone. So I thought to myself, what will happen in the future when people find themselves in remote areas? Maybe they're in India, maybe they're in South America, maybe they're in some part of continental Africa, where there is a limited access to broadcasting systems, radio studios, things of that nature. What kind of world can I envision in which people who are voiceless can have a voice? And that's when I thought of Smartcasting. That's when I thought to myself, the quality of transmission that we're used to from the radio has always had an aspect to it where we accepted the quality of an interview when a person was on the telephone. Now, obviously, the presenter of a show has a nice quality studio, big bombastic microphone with his spit guard and things of that nature. And you know that the quality of the presenter is going to be absolutely amazing. But you've always accepted that the person who was being interviewed on the other side was using a regular telephone. And that was okay, so long as you can understand the person, what they were saying. now I thought to myself, well, if we accept that in broadcasting, if we accept that level of quality, why wouldn't we accept the quality of a smartphone? Because smartphones nowadays, and for some time now, have really increased the quality of not only the video, picture quality, but audio quality. Smartphones have a much better quality than your regular house phone. So if you can call in to a radio broadcast with a regular house phone and it's acceptable to our ears, why wouldn't it be acceptable for someone to speak into a smartphone and use it as broadcast quality? Because if a telephone is broadcast quality for an interview, then a smartphone would be even better quality for that interview. And so I thought to myself, the importance is not really the quality of the microphone or the quality of the recording, especially if the recording is already better than what we get with a telephone, with a regular telephone. Then why not create a smartphone system that allows for people to be able to record themselves and upload those recordings? Now, this came during a time where I saw a lot of sites were allowing people to upload. There was SoundClick, there's SoundCloud, there's Podbean, there's all these different websites that allow for you to upload MP3s, audios. And so that's when I said, okay, there's going to be a boom in broadcasting, a boom in podcasting. But then I thought to myself, and this is where a couple of my friends stepped in and said, let's do something. I had met some friends online and we formed a friendship. And then through that friendship, we decided, why write to one another when we can send audio to one another? So we hooked up on WhatsApp, and on WhatsApp, we were able to send audios back and forth. And as I was listening to the audios that I was exchanging with me and my friends, I thought to myself, wow, if I took these audio clips and I put them all together, if I wanted to have another person come into this conversation, I could actually put together enough material for a show, because we were talking about interesting things, numerology, how to create money, blockchain technology, philosophy. We were talking about a lot of interesting things that were not just simple chat that you have between people who are just, chatting about not the simple things in their life. We were talking about subjects, content that other people might be interested in. So I came up with this proposition. I said, fellas, would you mind from now on if I take what it is that we're recording between us, would you mind if I accumulated that into an hour? I'll do the audio editing and I'll put one piece after another. And once we reach about an hour's worth of material, I'll publish it as a podcast. And they said, yeah, why not? That's not a bad idea. That sounds pretty good. I mean, let's do it. Let's see what happens. So as we began to do that, I came up with Smartcasting, because I did not have a microphone at the time. My computer did not have, I did not have the capability of having WhatsApp on my computer. So I was using my cell phone. I was using a smartphone. I was actually using Grazia's smartphone. And that's when I thought to myself, wow, I'm creating a broadcast simply by using my smartphone. My smartphone has become my microphone, my little miniature studio. So I came up with the concept Smartcasting. I coined the term Smartcasting. I said, okay, this is going to be known as Smartcasting. And then when I connected that into what happened with the Arab Spring, I said, the next step or the next phase may very well be that people will use audio rather than written word in order to communicate messages. And I thought to myself, here we have an opportunity where people who may not have an outlet for their voice can now, because smartphones are everywhere. Smartphones are raining down on the world like rain. I mean, they are in every single, you're a remote village in Africa, you will find people with smartphones. Now, what if there's some really bright mind within that village? There's no radio station, there's no studio, maybe they don't even have a computer. But that person may have something valuable that they want to share with the public or want to share with the world. That's where Smartcasting would step in. And so I envisioned this idea of a new style of broadcasting in which Time was not a constraint. Place was not a constraint. And because of the quality of the smartphone microphones, I said this could be done. So I shared some of these thoughts with Girolamo. He said this is very innovative. He obviously pointed out that it does take away from the naturalness of being live and direct and back and forth. But that's true. But at the same time, innovation also allows for something different to take place. So he was willing to try it. We did it. He enjoyed it. He wants to come back. And I want to throw the idea out there to the Steam It community. I would obviously, at some point or another, I would love to do this in English, because I actually did this on Steam It. There was a time period of months where there was a show, a Smartcast that I did back when D-Sound was around. I used to upload it on D-Sound. It was called Abundance of Wisdom. And I really had a really good time. That's where I really developed smartcasting and my ability to be able to do it. Now, in doing smartcasting, there has to be a central point. In other words, at the moment, I'm the central point, because somebody with the computer has to be able to gather those audio clips, put them together one by one, eliminate the glitches, and then formulate that into one solid MP3. Now, other people may not be able to do that. And so in order to begin a smartcast, you have to have a central point for the smartcast. In other words, the audio clips have to come into a central point where they get accumulated. I had actually even tried to envision an app that would allow for people to do this on the blockchain, but that was just getting way too ahead of myself. I don't know how to code. I don't have a group of developers that could have put something like that together. But the idea was there. Now, obviously, I don't want anybody to get too excited about me starting up any smartcasting in English, because number one, I have enough things to do at the moment. Number two, I would be concerned about too many requests. I think a lot of people would enjoy the idea of being able to share their thoughts in such a way, because there's no constraint on time. I mean, even if you're, as I'm recording this right now, somebody might be sleeping, and they may listen to the Tino take tomorrow when they wake up. It's the same concept with smartcasting. I would send a piece of audio. Like right now, my preferred choice is to use Telegram, because WhatsApp requires a phone number. Telegram doesn't. So I can put Telegram onto my computer. So my preferred choice for creating a smartcast is Telegram, because you can put it onto a computer as well as have it on a smartphone. I use the computer because obviously this is the central hub where I collect all of the audios, put them together, edit them, and then create them into, in this case, I put them into an MP4 so I can upload them onto YouTube and then share them with the Steam It community. But eventually, somewhere down the line, it would be great to get Steamians back into the world of audio. We used to have shows that you can listen to by Steamians who talked about the issues of Steam, and I miss those days. And so it will be great to see that come back. Now, anytime I put an idea out there, go with it, run with it. I don't claim ownership. I don't do copyright. I don't patent things. I have ideas come to me and I share them with the great hopes that other people can do something positive and constructive with it. So if you guys want to create your smartcast, if you want to take this idea and run with it, go right ahead. It would be great to hear more Steamians express themselves using audio or video, so that we can talk more about the issues that need to be addressed or the things that go on within the Steam It environment. So that is, I hope that I covered enough. I hope that I covered everything. Just some little details about smartcasting. Basically, what you do is you come up with a show, a title, and what you do is you go into Telegram, for example, you connect with the people that you want to be your co-host, and then what you do is you create a group. Now, within that group, that is basically public. Not in public that anyone else can see it, but that's you broadcasting. You know, like I'll give you the personal example. Me and Girolamo, we have our accounts on Telegram. I have my account. Girolamo has his account. In private, we discuss things privately. Maybe things about our life, maybe, you know, things that we don't share in public. Now, there's another group that I've created on Telegram that's called Curione Live. It's my Italian show. Once I or Girolamo step into that group, then there is no longer private. What gets recorded there is what's going to be popping up on the show. So I may do an introduction. You know, let's say the introduction of the show, because I'm let's say the master host, the master presenter, and I do an introduction. After which, whenever Girolamo has the time, he will come in. You know, I will do that introduction and it will sit there. Maybe a couple hours will pass and Girolamo has the time to pick up his phone. He'll listen to it and then he can respond to that. And then once he responds to that, maybe a couple hours will pass, or maybe I happen to be online at that moment and I will respond to that. And we would just go back and forth. Or if something else pops up into my mind based on the last recording that I did and Girolamo still hasn't recorded a piece, then I can jump in and say, oh, and another thing. And then I'll go into some other thoughts that I wanted to share. And you go back and forth like that, and you take note of the amount of minutes that are being recorded. And once you start getting to a particular time, like in the Curione Live that I did, once we got past the 20-minute mark, then I said, okay, let's start to wrap this up. And we got to about a half an hour. Then you sign off. You take all of those clips. It's a little bit of work to do, but if you're the presenter, then, you know, this is the work that you would have to do, because you take all of those audio clips, you bring them into an audio editor. You put one in front of, one after the other of these clips, so that it sounds like there was a live show back and forth going on. And you wouldn't even notice that days and hours may have passed by, because it took us about 3 days to do a half an hour show, because he has his life, I have my life. But this is the comfort of smartcasting. Now, if more people come into it, then, that half an hour can fill up a lot quicker, because you have one person come in, another person come in, and another person come in, and you fill up that space quickly. There were times when I used to do Abundance of Wisdom. There were times where for a whole day, no one would say anything because they're just too busy with work, with their life, with their family. And then the next day you would just have this avalanche of clips come in, to the point where, there was enough material to do 2 shows. So it's a lot of fun for those of you who may be passionate about broadcasting and putting a show together. This is an idea for you. I hope you like it. Hope you enjoy it, and I hope that in the future I will be able to find the space, the time, the resources, and the co-hosts to be able to do some smart casting in English. That would be awesome, because then I would, Steam It has become a really great community of international scope, and it would just be really interesting to have voices from all around the world. Mind you, when I did the smart casting 2 years ago, I'm in Northern Italy. My co-host was in the capital of Estonia, and my other co-host was in the rural countryside of England. So different time zones, different places, but it was a lot of fun. And it was as if we were all in the same room doing an actual broadcast. So that's the smart casting. Smart casting is back. I'm grateful to Girolamo for having had the courage to do this with me, and I'm grateful that he found it enjoyable. And we'll be going on to the next smart cast very, very soon. And the Italian community is appreciating this as well. Now, next argument. How to create awesome Steam links. I never thought that this would become a community. I'm very grateful that the Steam It team appreciated this idea, and they suggested that I create a community. That way it's easier for me to monitor and others to monitor the Steam links. And I said, okay, I'll give it a try. I'm not that great of an administrator, and I'm certainly not putting this together to attract reward chasers. So they also suggested, the Steam It team also suggested, that I start putting some guidelines and rules together for people to be able to understand the seriousness of what it is that I want to do, because we are stepping into an area that was frowned upon up until now. And I can understand why, because we always have these reward chasers, crypto beggars, farmers, milkers, spammers. Call them what you will. We have a lot of abuse, and this is very easy to abuse. But I'm sure that if I keep an eye on it, there will be no abuse, because I will stamp the fist down. I will stamp the foot down very quickly, because I kind of take it personal now. I wanted to stick with the tag so that I didn't have much responsibility on my shoulders. I have enough things to think about. But the idea of creating the community was not a bad idea. I mean, they had, Steam Team had a good point that it would be easier to monitor and see if people would really genuinely be interested in sharing some really quality, some serious proof of brain links, because there's a lot of good information out there, and we need to create an environment in which Steemit can really offer what other social media platforms are offering. Otherwise, we'll never be able to compete. We'll never be able to compete for a user base if we don't listen to what it is that people actually really want from a social media network. So I know that people want links. People share links. Steemians share links. I've said this in the past. If you create a post, you can share it on Facebook. You can share it on other media platforms. Sharing of information is what we need to go into. That's the age we're in. We are in this information age, and the sharing of information is essential. And it doesn't necessarily have to be your information. Actually, it is very important for good content creators to have tools that allow for their information to be shared. This isn't the 80s, the 70s, the 60s. This isn't the time where copyright and you can't reprint books, and there was bootlegging and all of this, because people wanted their profits. People wanted to make sure that they get paid. Now we're living in a time when we have people with amazing voices, a lot of courage. They really put themselves out there because they're going up against giants. They're going up against multinationals. They're going up against the deep state. They're going up against secret societies. They're going up against corrupt politicians and corrupt leaders, corrupt organizations, corrupt businesses, corrupt companies that are destroying the world and destroying people. So these people, whereas in the past they would have never had a voice because they couldn't get onto television, they couldn't get onto the radio, now they can post up articles in a blog. They can do a transmission, podcast. They can get up on YouTube, do videos, do documentaries. So this is a time where there are a lot of really creative people, a lot of powerful content creators who want their information to be shared. They want that information. They don't care about getting paid for that information. They don't care about copyrights and things of that nature. They say, listen, we need to get open source information. Open source information is where we are at. I applaud James Corbett for, I learned this from him. I don't know if he's the pioneer. I don't know if he coined the term, but we are in the age of open source information. Just like open source code has revolutionized the internet, programmers, blockchain, and so many different things, operating systems. Open source information is going to revolutionize our ability to be able to become more intelligent as a species, more intelligent than what we have been up to this point, because intelligence and the sharing of information amongst us on a grassroots level is what allows for awareness and consciousness to evolve much faster. So the idea for Steam links, and I put up this post, how to create awesome Steam links, with a little guideline of just, I want your Steam links to just, number one, I want them to look nice. But most importantly, as I put in the post, step number one, really think carefully about the links you want to share. Don't share garbage, because you're not going to get rewarded. I'm not going to upvote you if you don't share something that I find interesting, or if the quality of what you share. And so I said, okay, I'll set out an outline of the style and the quality that I want to see. I want to see the title of the original article. I want to see the image from the original article. I want to see a paragraph from the original article. And I want to see a link under that, which would take me to that article. And that's that's the flow of creating a good link. Creating an awesome Steam link starts with, number one, your title. So if you can find a good article out there that captures your attention, then maybe it may capture the attention of other people. So now, so far, I haven't been really asking people to come in. I haven't been really promoting it much, but I thought to myself, I like this idea that the Steam It team put out to me. I like the idea of Steam links. This is something that I'm not going to abandon so quickly simply because other people don't find interest in it, because I'm determined to share my own Steam links. I want to see articles on Steemit that really capture my attention. So if I'm not seeing it from other people, then I need to be the example of what it is that I'm talking about, or what it is that I desire to see in the Steemit environment. So I'm putting up some really nice links that I like. And the first thing that'll grab you is the title. The next thing that'll grab you is the image. And then that one paragraph, because good journalists are really good at creating an introductory paragraph that kind of gets you to want to read the rest of the paragraph. So one or two solid paragraphs from the article, and then the link, because the link comes last. If with your title, your image, and that one paragraph, you capture the attention of the person so much so that they click on the link and go read the rest of the article, well, that's proof of brain. That is really proof of brain. Now, at the same time, don't think that you can come into this community because you're going to get rewards. I have not asked anyone to vote on these. I'm looking for nice articles. That's what I'm looking. First, I'm looking to see if there are people, and I'm very grateful, very, very grateful to Stephen Palmer, aka Remlapse, because he's always had this talent, this gift of being able to put together some really nice links, and I'm loving them. I'm really enjoying them. Some of the members of the Italian community have taken the challenge on board as well, and they're putting up some nice articles in the Italian language. So I'm seeing the thing is attracting a little bit of attention, and I'm hoping that it can grow from there. Now, if in the future people really get good at contributing quality articles, then I will work on a rewarding system. But first, I want to demonstrate proof of quality content. I want content enthusiasts. I want to encourage content enthusiasts who really are enthusiastic about the content that they are reading online and sharing that content. And then we can worry about the crypto enthusiasts, by saying, okay, quality content has been established. Now let's start rewarding people for sharing good quality content. So I'm really grateful. And what I'm going to do now is I'm not just going to leave it at that. I want to continue to promote this. So every once in a while, either my own Steam links, because I had originally thought about doing this. I said eventually the Tino take is going to go beyond me just talking about what's going on within the Steemit environment, which I will continue to do, and I enjoy doing very much, and I feel very grateful for all the support that I've been getting from Steemians, because we lost a lot of voices with everything that has gone on with Steemit over the years. We've lost we used to have more voices, and I feel like I'm one of those new voices in the new Steam that people may appreciate, because people like to have a voice within a community, some voice. I'm not the voice, but I'm one voice, and I think people appreciate that. So I will be speaking on behalf of Steam. I will be talking about what goes on within the Steemit environment, but at the same time, as a Smartcaster, I want to be able to also talk about what's going on in the world, what it is that I'm learning. So Steam Links was also about that. I said to myself, eventually, this isn't just going to be gene codes and philosophy and esotericism. I want to start sharing information from other quality content creators that can inspire me to give my opinion on things, and I can share that opinion with the Steemit community. So every once in a while, I'll be grabbing one of the Steam links, either from myself or from someone else, if they capture my attention. And I have the feeling that Mr. Palmer will be high up on that list, because he gets my attention when he starts, when he puts those things up about artificial intelligence and robotics and things of that nature. I click every time. That's clickbait for me, because I find those subjects very fascinating. So check out how to create awesome Steam links. It's very simple. It's not that difficult. And please share some quality information in the community. If you're looking for rewards, please don't waste time. You're not going to get any. So you're either a content enthusiast and you're welcome in, and I don't place any limitations. You don't have to put what I like, put what you like. What's inspiring to you, what you feel should get more attention within the STEAMIT community about the information, information that you see out there from good websites, from good content creators, from good authors. Bring them in. I'm keeping an eye on things, and we'll see where it goes from there. Yeah, that's great. 2 subjects today, 40 minutes. Listen, everyone, I really appreciate all the support that I've been getting from everyone. I really appreciate the support from the STEAMIT team. And I'll keep reminding you that with the Italian community, we have some interesting things on the way. A little bit of patience. I know sometimes we get very impatient in this fast-paced world, but we're trying to work things out so that they are very beautifully presented and very fun and unique and original. So thank you very much for listening. We will catch up on the next take.